Imam Ali, peace be upon him, the gateway of knowledge, the fountain of wisdom, and the commander of the faithful, uttered words that carry eternal light. His saying, seek refuge in God from the intoxication of wealth, for the intoxication of wealth wears off very quickly, is not merely a statement, it is a mirror that reflects the reality of human life. Wealth has always been a powerful force in society. It brings power, it brings influence, it brings comfort, and it brings temporary happiness, but at the same time wealth is a test. It can blind the eyes, it can harden the heart, and it can intoxicate the soul. The metaphor of intoxication is deep because intoxication is a state where a person loses balance, loses awareness, and loses control. When a man is intoxicated with wine, his steps are unstable, his tongue speaks without wisdom, and his mind fails to recognize reality. In the same way, when a man is intoxicated with wealth, his decisions are clouded, his heart is filled with arrogance, and his soul forgets the reality of death and accountability. Imam Ali, peace be upon him, warns us that this intoxication of wealth is not permanent, it wears off very quickly because wealth itself is not permanent. Wealth is a guest that does not stay. Wealth is a shadow that moves with the sun and disappears with the night. When man chases after wealth, he imagines that it will give him eternal strength, but he forgets that time will snatch it from his hands. The Quran reminds us that wealth and children are adornments of this worldly life, but the everlasting virtues are those of good deeds and remembrance of God. Imam Ali, peace be upon him, connects this Quranic truth with his wisdom. He reminds humanity that intoxication, whether from wine or wealth, is dangerous because it blinds you from reality, but the intoxication of wealth is even more subtle because society praises it, society honors the wealthy, society bends before money and power, but in reality all of this is fragile. When death comes, the intoxication vanishes. When sickness strikes, the intoxication fades. When betrayal happens, wealth shows its weakness, and when the grave is entered, nothing of wealth accompanies the soul. Imam Ali, peace be upon him, therefore tells us to seek refuge in God, not to seek refuge in wealth, not to trust it, not to make it our security, because God is the everlasting refuge. He is the protector, He is the one who remains when all else perishes. The intoxication of wealth creates pride. It makes a person think that he is self-sufficient, that he is greater than others, that he is beyond need, but in truth every breath is dependent on God. Every drop of blood is flowing by His permission. Every grain of food is reaching our stomach only by His mercy. When man forgets this, he becomes intoxicated, and when that intoxication wears off, he wakes up in regret. Imam Ali, peace be upon him, wanted the hearts of believers to remain clear, to remain pure, and to remain aware. He did not condemn wealth itself because wealth can be a blessing. Wealth can feed the poor, wealth can build schools, wealth can spread knowledge, wealth can heal the sick, but wealth becomes poison when it intoxicates the heart, when it creates arrogance, when it makes man forget the poor and the orphan, when it makes man deny God. The intoxication of wealth is quick because wealth does not last. History shows us countless examples: kings, emperors, traders, millionaires. They lived in palaces, they walked with pride, but today their graves are silent, their wealth is gone, and their intoxication has vanished. The only thing that remains is their deeds. Some are remembered with prayers because they used their wealth for good, others are remembered with curses because they let wealth intoxicate them and oppress the weak. Imam Ali, peace be upon him, wanted us to remain free from this intoxication. Freedom from the intoxication of wealth means contentment. Contentment is the true treasure. When man is content with what God gives him, he is richer than kings, he is wealthier than millionaires because his heart is satisfied. But when man is intoxicated by wealth, he is always thirsty, always greedy, always anxious. He fears loss, he fears rivals, he fears poverty, and in the end he still loses. Imam Ali, peace be upon him, lived the life of asceticism. Though he was a ruler, he ate simple food, he wore simple clothes, he gave away what he had for the sake of God. His wealth was his piety, his treasure was his knowledge, and his intoxication was only in the remembrance of God. This is why his words carry eternal authority, because he lived what he spoke, and his wisdom was not from books but from light. The intoxication of wealth wears off very quickly. Sometimes it wears off within this life. A man may lose his business, a man may be betrayed by his partners, a man may fall sick and realize that wealth cannot buy health. Sometimes it wears off at the moment of death, when the angel of death takes the soul. The wealthy man sees that all his treasures cannot buy even one more breath, and sometimes it wears off in the grave when wealth is left behind and the soul faces its deeds alone. The intoxication is gone and only reality remains. This is why Imam Ali, peace be upon him, says, seek refuge in God, for only God is permanent, only God is refuge, only God remains, and only God gives true security. If we reflect on society today, we see the intoxication of wealth more clearly than ever. Luxury cars, high-rise towers, golden jewelry, digital numbers in bank accounts, all of these intoxicate people. They believe they are immortal. Because of money they feel superior. Because of property they measure their worth by wealth. But look deeper: depression, anxiety, suicide, all of these are increasing even among the wealthy, because intoxication wears off, and when it does, emptiness takes over the heart that does not have God inside. It becomes hollow like a dry shell. The wisdom of Imam Ali, peace be upon him, is timeless. He spoke in the deserts of Arabia, but his words echo in modern cities filled with skyscrapers. He warned against intoxication not because he disliked wealth, but because he loved humanity and wanted to protect it from deception. The intoxication of wealth can be transformed into a blessing when wealth is used for God, when wealth is used for service, when wealth is used for justice. Then wealth becomes a tool, not an intoxicant. Then the heart remains awake and the soul remains free, and wealth becomes a bridge to paradise. The real intoxication that the believer should seek is intoxication in the love of God, intoxication in the remembrance of God, intoxication in the Quran, intoxication in prayer. This intoxication does not wear off. This intoxication grows with time. It gives peace in life and it accompanies the soul in death. When Imam Ali, peace be upon him, speaks, he is not merely giving advice, he is diagnosing the disease of the heart and giving the cure. The disease is intoxication of wealth, the cure is refuge in God. The intoxication of wealth is temporary, the refuge of God is eternal. The intoxication of wealth blinds the eyes, the refuge of God opens the heart. The intoxication of wealth brings arrogance, the refuge of God brings humility. The intoxication of wealth ends with regret, the refuge of God ends with eternal joy. This is the balance that Imam Ali, peace be upon him, wanted us to understand. We may live in palaces or we may live in huts, but our heart must never be intoxicated by wealth. Our heart must remain intoxicated by the love of God. When we seek refuge in God, we are free from fear, we are free from greed, we are free from the illusions of this world, and we are connected to the eternal source of light. The intoxication of wealth wears off quickly, but the intoxication of God remains forever.